Welcome back to Nick Lenz's movie review, episode number 98. Yeah, another one of my personal movies. I've only seen this one a few times, but it's a fantastic movie to watch. What movie is this? Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Yep, released back in it was like 1980 something. This is 20th anniversary edition, so I think it was like 1980 something. I'm gonna look around here. Yeah. Now, the movie itself is based upon a book, because of course it is. The book was called Who Censored Roger Rabbit. It do feature, it's a similar story to this, but the thing is, Roger actually committed a murder in that one, kind of like he's accused in here, but it's not played for slapstick, and apparently the writer loves this movie. Yeah, the original, here it is right here. Okay, the movie was released in 1988. June 22nd, 1988. Budget of 50.6 million. Made $329 million. Yep. And this some stars. Bob Hoskins. Christopher Lloyd, one of his best roles of his whole career. People forget he's actually in this movie. He plays Judge Doom. Yes, the villain of the film. And here's the thing. You, this is probably one film where Christopher Lloyd is actually an actual villain, and he doesn't have to wear like chalk makeup to make himself threatening. Now, I have heard something that the guy who voiced Roger Rabbit himself since passed away. Yeah, the guy who voiced Roger Rabbit is Charles Fletcher. hmm Yep, Charles Fletcher. Actually, he's still alive. Yeah, he was also in the Polar Express. And we're back. A dinosaur story. Yep. Let's see. We also have Baby Herman movie voiced by Lou Hirsch. Jessica Rabbit is voiced by Kathleen Turner. Yep. Now, Bob Hoskins' character, Eddie Valiant, is similar to the novel, but he's a little more heavy drinking in the novel than he was. I've never read the novel, but it's one thing I've always wanted to read. The film was directed by Robert Zemeckis, the same guy who directed Back to the Future. It's the 80s, so why not bring it and have Spielberg produce it? Which is not a bad idea. Yes, this car does play a role in the movie. Yep. Now, the movie is set in 1947, like 2 years after World War II, set in Hollywood. And no, there's no mention of the Black Dahlia murders, because the thing is, if it's late 1940s, like Hollywood, what's usually one thing usually brought up this period of time? The Black Dahlia murder. That's usually what a lot of people like to bring up, is that particular murder. Made a movie out of it. Yep. Now, Ellie Valley is basically hired to basically do whatever the heck he wants. Now, and the movie it is set in L.A. They have like tram cards movie. They play him like a minor role movie. Now, Doom himself is looking for Roger Rabbit because he apparently did something. So, oh yeah, and he apparently found a way to kill Toons. Acid. Because why not? Doom dresses like almost like a Catholic priest. And apparently he's an actual judge. Since when do judges dress in black? All black like that in public? No judge I know. I know two sitting judges, and neither one of them dress all in black. Wear that silly hat he wears in the movie. That was 1940s style of dress back then. And if Valen also has a girlfriend in this movie who is a waitress. There's a hilarious scene where he tries to have her basically dodge something, and he pulls her down by her shirt, basically like pulling out like where her chest is. Kind of not exactly showing nudity per se, but it's quite hilarious. There's actually a joke about, oh yeah, I caught you with your pants down. Or his pants was literally down because here's the thing, he was wearing suspenders, and well, and apparently Jessica Rabbit's told, and he is. Of course, she's smoking hot. She also make a joke like, I looked this way because I was drawn this way. Yeah, which is quite hilarious. Marvin Acme, who is actually the murder victim in this movie, he dies in the most bizarre way possible. Like, he just, at his desk, like, I think he's talking to Eddie Valiant, I think it is. And then there's a gun comes peeking through the blinds. This is later one of the weasels. He gets killed, and Roger's to blame for the murder. Because here's the thing. Roger Rabbit got jealous of this guy for, get this, and this is the most stupidest reason to be jealous of him. Playing patty cake with his wife. You're thinking, patty cake? Really? Okay. Not sleeping with her? Nope. Just. Oh, yeah, and apparently in the original novel, I heard Jessica Rabbit was a gold digger. Yeah. And she actually left Roger. Mm-hmm. Here in the movie, she generally does love Roger. I'm like, she's a human character who's smoking hot, and she's married to a rabbit who wears red overalls. Okay, so funny. And has this wonderful bow tie. And of course, you gotta love bow ties. Yeah, apparently there's a cut this movie that I didn't know about this until someone pointed out that people can easily freeze frame a shot of her where she apparently under her dress she's not wearing any panties. That's not a joke. That seriously happens in this movie. Yep. Of course, the shenanigans is basically you have Eddie Vaughn going to Toontown. There's this really funny scene of him being in an elevator with, of all people, I think it was. I'm trying to remember what is the name of the dog. I've seen. I don't. It's not very. No. Is who is actually in the elevator with him? It is. It's not Betty Boop. It's basically a dog who's very frowny. I'm trying to find the name of the the tune. Yeah, because I've seen he's basically kind of this grumpy dog. He says going up, sir, going down, and there's this hilarious thing. Gets his Toontown. Eddie Von sort of gets flattened near his own shoes, and he gets right back normal, and then eventually he just falls out of the elevator, and then here's something very strange. He's falling down, and then for some reason, Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny show up in this scene. Yeah, from what I heard, the reason why they're in this scene because the producers of this movie really wanted to use Looney Tunes Disney characters, but I think it was Disney or Warner Bros. Had the stipulation they have to have equal screen time. There's even this hilarious scene where you have Donald Duck and Daffy Duck playing the piano at his nightclub with Betty Boop as a waitress. Yes, Betty Boop. I know who this character is because of this movie. That's how I know about Betty Boop. I mean, if anyone around my age basically had not seen this movie and I ask him, do you know who Betty Boop is? He'd be like, who? Who is Betty Boop? She's this black and white character from the 40s. I'm surprised they actually have her in black and white in here, which is kind of something because the whole movie is in color. Yep. And you gotta love the whole classic noir type of thing, like the PI office, like him having the holster under his coat, which is a lot of PIs tend to be in fiction. I don't know if PIs in real life actually do that. Actually have a gun holster like under their coat, which apparently, if I've seen one thing, they actually those guns when they're pointed, they actually leak their onto the person's shirt, and I'm sure it's like very hard to get out. It's very also very uncomfortable to wear. Yeah, cops basically don't do that. Not in real life. Cops I've seen, they wear their guns on their waist, not inside their coat. Well, maybe plainclothes detectives probably do that, but not uniform officers. Mm-hmm. The car pops in the movie a couple times. The car itself is no friend of Roger's, who drives basically Roger around. And he's also apparently a taxi. Yeah, he's a taxi. which is quite hilarious. Yeah, and then when they have Doom basically take him on in Acme Factory, says you have him take him on like how this all acid stuff. This dip is basically what they call it dip, but it's freaking acid. Yes, it's acid. Yeah, they test out how they kill off a tomb by having a cartoon shoe being killed. I'm sure any kid probably saw that scene, probably cried because a cartoon character got murdered by a human. And you want to know the plot twist about Judge Doom? He's a frickin' tune. Yep. And he talked with a really weird voice. and the whole thing of him, they have Eddie Val when they battle him. It's basically all comedy. It's like he pulls out a sword because Eddie threw a sword. He finds a sword and it's a cartoon sword it's a talking sword who sings jazz. I'm like, okay. And they also have cannonballs in here. Yeah, it's just so fun, this particular film. And they have one point where they have Roger and Jessica Rabbit just tied up like this, which any villain basically fiction. Yeah, tie the hands up here. Have people hanging. Yeah, people also do it in dungeons as well, which is so stereotypical villain of them. Yeah, let's just spray dip on them. And then you have Valiant, who basically dodges a believe it or not, apparently Doom's tricks. He has like spring shoes, and apparently he also has a trick boxing glove, which apparently he moves out of the way and activates it. Apparently it melts him. I'm melting! Basically, probably a tribute to Wizard of Oz. It's so hilarious. I mean, yeah, it's Christopher Lloyd can kill off in the movie, but it's a fictional character. Christopher Lloyd himself is still alive and well. I don't know if he's ever talked about this movie because this character is so hilarious. And this movie is just purely fantastic. I highly recommend it. I'm not like the whole plot of this film is all over a particular will. Trying to get their hands on the will of Marvin Acme, which apparently was in the back of a freaking love letter. Yeah, I'm not kidding about that. That's what I find it. And apparently the will was actually in Roger's pocket the whole film. Yes, Marvin Acme's will. Yeah. Pure fun of movie. I'm going to give this movie a 10 out of 10. It is really, really good. Fun watch. It's been some time I watch it, but just remembering some of the highlights of this movie because I'm sure a lot of people are really big fans of this movie. And here's the thing about this film. I've seen people talk about this, particularly like snippets. But I've never seen anybody actually review this movie. Unless somebody can point out someone who actually has, preferably in English, mind you, because I can't understand anybody who speaks a different language, unless it goes to have subtitles. But yeah, if anybody points out somebody besides me who's reviewed this movie, put in the comments below. I'd like to hear basically their thoughts of the movie. Me? Love it. It's a pure classic. And I'm basically as old as this movie, despite the fact this DVD, this is a Blu-ray of the 20th anniversary of this film. I'm basically as old as this movie. Yep, movie came out 31 years ago. Surprisingly, the movie was never re-released in theaters last year for as part of the 30th anniversary of the film. They did that for Forrest Gump for its 20th anniversary, but surprisingly, they knew for Who Framed Roger Rabbit, a beloved classic from the 80s. Yep. And this is not made by Studio Disney. This is actually made by Steven Spielberg Studio. It was released from Touchstone. I believe so. Yeah. Otherwise, though, really fantastic movie. Highly recommend it. Okay? So, yeah. That's it for Stickler Review. Next review, Comic Corner. Okay? Do some next review. Bye.